Did you know that 66% of men lose their hair by age 35? Thing is, when you start to notice hair loss, it's too late. It's easier to keep the hair you have than replace the hair you've lost. Is that hairline slowly starting to move backwards? Bald spots yet? Why don't you do something about it first? You need to visit forhims.com, a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, and other issues for men. Thanks to science, baldness can be optional. Hims connects you with real doctors and medical-grade solutions to treat your hair loss. They have well-known generic equivalents to name-brand prescriptions to help you keep your hair. No snake oil pills or gas station counter supplements. Just prescription solutions backed by science. No waiting room, no awkward doctor visits. Save hours by going to forhims.com. Answer a few quick questions. The doctor will review and give you a prescription, and the products are shipped directly to your door. Order now, and our listeners get a trial month of Hims for just $5 today right now while supplies last. See the website for full details. This would cost hundreds if you went to the doctor or a pharmacy. Go to forhims.com/wingo. That's forhims.com/wingo. forhims.com/wingo.
It's April, and some things are winding up like baseball, and some things are winding down like hockey. Thankfully, Pennzoil Synthetics provides your vehicle with complete protection for top engine performance no matter what season it is, so you don't have to worry about ups and downs. Pennzoil, make the switch.
Good Wednesday. Welcome into Golic and Wingo. Glad you're with us on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests will join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. If you're watching us on ESPN News, let me just say the struggle is real. Let me explain what's going on. Mike Golic is back from 2 days off, trying to get things going, and his microphone has broken 40 seconds into the show.
Who's using this thing? What's going on?
Hi, buddy.
You doing okay
What's up?
over there?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I need an Allen wrench. I said it to everybody before, and they looked at me like, oh, Golic coming back from vacation saying he needs an Allen wrench. You think I'm making it up?
No.
I need an Allen wrench.
We can say with great certainty you need something.
I need an Allen wrench.
I think everyone was just distracted by the super deep V that our audience on ESPN News is going to see right now in your shirt. It's a bit revealing, and I think it's honestly taking away from the seriousness of your situation, which... Listen, you're just going to have to be a pro and ride through this right now. We're too far gone.
I can do it.
Would you like to switch to the
other
mic?
You know what? I'm going to man up here.
Okay.
All right. I can handle it.
Okay.
I only have, 20 minutes?
Yeah, you're good. I think we should be all right.
Give me an Allen wrench.
I don't think, we can't run down to a store and get an Allen wrench. I don't think the Allen wrench store is open at 6:01.
Here's the issue. Devin went to get the Allen wrench.
Oh, boy.
See you in 4 hours.
Bubble Boy, this is the greatest thing in the world. I'll be right back with that. I'm free!
Exactly.
That's exactly what's happening.
He's out getting a smoke and a pancake saying, yeah, they need an Allen wrench.
I'll give you an Allen wrench.
So anyway, we're glad to have you back.
I'm glad to be back. I had a ball, obviously.
You were down at the Darius Rucker Monday after the Masters
Myrtle
Golf
Beach,
Tournament.
Darius and Hootie the Blowfish, all those guys were fantastic. Mike, you were there last year. It's kind of a great crew there. The golf, unfortunately, rained out. We only got a few holes in. It is a shame because it's a lot of fun golf and a lot of great people there. But I got to say, the music that goes on there and the concert is just incredible. Phil Bailey from Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Nice.
Unbelievable was there. Nate Morris from Boys to Men there as well. It was just an incredible array of music that went on. Javier Clone, who lives right by the first winner of The Voice, was there
proud
as well.
West Hartford, Connecticut native.
I mean, his voice could be the best of all. Just incredible.
But what I need to know, and this is the most important one, was did John Daly reprise his performance
Daly was not
from
there
last year? So John Daly was the most impressive person I saw play music at last year's Monday after the Masters. I forgot how musically inclined and just generally how talented he is because we're used to just seeing him drink and smoke on the golf course. I turned my back for a minute last year, and all of a sudden I look back on the stage, and he's out there with the guys playing Running with the Devil.
Running with the Devil, playing guitar.
Belting it out, incredibly, in flip-flops after smoking and ashing his cigarette into a Coors Light can on the side of the stage.
I mean, he was all he could be, is what he was. So it was listen, and obviously Darius and, Hootie, all the guys, Hootie and the Blowfish, they were fantastic. All those guys. Are great. It's a great tournament every year. I really, really enjoy it. Unfortunately, just the golf was kind of by the wayside. Yeah.
By the way, I think I played more golf yesterday than you played at the 2 days at Myrtle Beach.
I did play Sunday. I played a few holes.
Okay,
but it was only windy and cold there. It hadn't rained yet.
The rain hadn't come yet. By the way, I'm fascinated by watching you do this as you're going to go through the morning and try and hold the microphone through the entire show. It's a skill. Not everybody can do it. I want you to know that. Yeah. So let's get started.
It's time for Off the Top.
Whether you like it or not,
It's just beginning.
With Golic and Wingo.
All right. We start off the top with one game to rule them all. The Nuggets and Timberwolves will play for the final spot in the NBA playoffs tonight. This is the third time under the current playoff format since 1983-84 that the winning team of a game on the final day of the regular season will make the playoffs, and the losing team, well, won't. And the first since 1997.
See, I thought that in 97 it was the Bullets against the Cavs, and then back in 95 it was the Nuggets against the Kings. I love this because how many times in an 82-game schedule or in baseball, for hockey and basketball, and then baseball 162, we're like, oh, we don't care, who cares about game 37 or game 22? Well, you know what? When it comes down to the last game of the regular season or in baseball, when you got to play that one extra game or like tonight, when it's all riding on it, you care about those games, and that's why you play those games. That's why there's meaning behind those games, and it all catches up now.
Wait, what did you just say? There's meaning.
There's meaning behind those games.
You play to win the game.
I mean, and I get. I think there was a lot less rest this year because extending the season to the back-to-back road games and things like that they took away and such. But by the way, only 5 of the 16 seeds are locked right now. The 1 and 2 in both conferences, and the 5 in the East with the Pacers, and that's it. So we got play-in to get into the playoffs and then a lot of play for seeding tonight.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what the rest days looked like because I think we also had a lot of guys miss more days because of injury, and you wonder how much of that ended up becoming built-in rest using Knicks to kind of disguise those things. But certainly from the league standpoint, they got what they wanted, which is that being less of a headline. And they got, to your point, a lot of uncertainty going right up to the end of the regular season here. With the amount we have in play, this is, I think, the most interest that we've had around the last week of the season. And I don't remember how long. And most of it stems from the fact that the top teams have already been jumbled. We've already seen Golden State and Cleveland already knocked down further than we're used to. And so it seems more volatile, and we get more of that now.
Well, we'll get to the Golden State situation in a minute, but yeah, you could say they've been knocked down. They certainly were last night. We'll get to that in a minute.
Off the top.
Well, we continue with the 76ers. Again, they just can't lose.
They're streaking!
Franchise record 15th straight win on Tuesday, 121-113 over Atlanta. Now, if the 76ers beat the Bucks tonight, they'll have the longest winning streak entering the playoffs in NBA history.
Yeah, I mean, it really is the longest streak to end the regular season. In 1949, the Royals.
Sure.
How about that? And before that, it was 14 games, 72, 73, it was the Bucks. So, listen, they're playing without Joel Embiid. I mean,
that's the most impressive thing about this.
That game, going back to Friday night, that game with the 76ers and the Cavaliers was one of the great games that was played this year, and how well they are playing. It's just really, and now that the people think that they could, analysts think that they could, challenge in the East and be the rep out of the East once you get Joel Embiid back. I don't buy that yet, but talk about a team on the come. They absolutely, positively are.
All the success without Joel Embiid has to make you wonder if he's bad for women's basketball. Really have to ask the hard-hitting questions.
That was a long way to go.
Oh yeah, you like that?
That was a long way to go.
It works. It's a meta joke. You guys, it's not for you guys.
No,
it's for a more sophisticated
we got
audience.
It completely. The question was, did it?
No,
I'm not really sure.
It did. Don't worry about it. That's not for you to decide. Anyway, when you look at this team, it's interesting, and this is going to be in reference to another team that we'll talk about in the Houston Rockets, but how you frame expectation now for this team, because they're starting to grow, but ultimately, no matter how it ends in the playoffs for this Philadelphia's team, this season is an overwhelming success.
They won 10 games last year. Of course it is.
An overwhelming success for a team that we still don't ultimately believe is destined to win a championship this year. So just keep that in mind, the vantage point that we look at this from when we talk about a team like the 76ers versus a team like the Houston Rockets, whose head coach had some interesting comments.
We will get to that a little bit later as well, but you're absolutely right. Context is everything. I've been saying that ever since this show began, and all you guys are yelling at me, black and white, black and white. No, nuance matters.
Off the top.
Then there's the Warriors, as we were alluding to. They got smoked. Lost their regular season finale by 40 points in Utah. The second time this season that Golden State has lost to the Jazz by at least 30. And according to the Elias Sports Bureau, the Jazz are the third team in NBA history to have multiple 30-point wins over the defending champs. So when you look at this game, does it say more about Utah or more about Golden State?
Well, I think we should be impressed with what Utah is doing. I mean, Utah is the land of you kind of disappear. We used to say that about Seattle, until the Seahawks started playing extremely well and getting to the Super Bowl. It was like you go out to the great Northwest to kind of disappear, and Utah was kind of thought of as well if you kind of lose any kind of notoriety from out there. But boy, the way this is ending right now, that they're battling Portland for the 3 slot. Really incredible what they're doing. So whether you want to notice them or not, they're there, and they're playing extremely well right now. Golden State, I'm not going to lie, I'm still not worried about. We don't know they're locked into the 2. We don't know who the 7's going to be because of all the games that are still to be played in the last night tonight of the regular season. But in all honesty, I'm not worried about them pulling it together.
What a gift Donovan Mitchell has been to this team.
I agree.
And I understand you still got the defensive player of the year on this team. You've still got a number of guys, but to lose Gordon Hayward, to lose the guy that was the star in the face of that team this offseason in free agency to the Celtics, and to not be sure, because in markets like Utah, to your point, and this was always my worry for Oklahoma City, this is the worry in Cleveland if LeBron leaves again. These smaller markets, these more remote markets, are really dependent on you hitting the lottery in some of these, and they seem to have hit it in Donovan Mitchell.
And think about it. He was the true, actual rookie of the year. We'll get into that.
Oh, there's a lot to get into there, partner.
And to your point, you're right. Rudy Gobert is going to be the defensive player of the year. I mean, they're playing extremely well out there.
And again, Donovan Mitchell is leading a 45-plus win team in scoring in his rookie year. That's very impressive, right?
Yep.
The last 4 guys to do that, David Robinson, Larry Bird, Kareem, and Wilt. It's a good list. It's a good list.
Good list to be on.
Good list to be on.
Off the top.
Baseball now. Mookie Betts went 4 for 4 with 5 runs and 4 RBI, courtesy of a grand slam, as the Red Sox just destroyed the Yankees 14-1 in the team's first meeting of the season. Betts joins Ken Griffey Jr. as the only player since RBI became an official stat in 1920. 1920 to have 5 runs, 4 hits, and 4 RBI in a game against the Yankees.
I mean, what a way to start your 19 games, huh? Yeah. It's absolutely destroy. I mean, and you sit there and look at what Boston's doing, sitting at 9-1. You look at the Mets. The Mets are they're
7-1.
No, they're 9-1 as well.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, you look at how well these first year managers are doing. It's really impressive coming out of the gate, and then again, especially for the Red Sox against the Yankees. Now, Judge went 3 for 4 in the game. Stanton went 2 for 4 in the game. The Judge had a home run, the only run of the game. But man, give it up for Boston and what they're doing right now.
Yeah, for New York, you get to slowly climb back into the hit column for those guys that we had really started to worry about. But I think better yet for them is the focus should now rightly shift to Boston, who is leading that division, who has one of the best players in baseball in Mookie Betts right now, who I think is leading in batting average at this point, went absolutely berserk last night, and is the example of how much different baseball is than football, how usually you pull back. It's effort everywhere. And in baseball, the tendency is to take more pitches, do all that. Alex Cora comes out, tells Mookie Betts, let's attack the beginning of these at-bats a little more, and you saw the results play out last night. So it has to be great for a new manager, a first-time manager, to see these kind of results.
And it's working. He's leading the league at hitting .432. They have 3 players total hitting over .350 right now, so they're coming out of the gate strong.
And again, they're doing it without Xander Bogaerts, who's going to be gone for a couple of weeks. I just love the way this season has started for Boston. Game 1, I think that game was in Tampa. They had a 4-run lead and blew it. They didn't do that once in 2017. They do that to start 2018, and then, of course, they haven't lost since. And Chris Sale absolutely being everything you would want him to be last night, 6 innings. Only the 1 run allowed. He's doing great. The Yankees continue to struggle to try to find a way to put it all together. But the Red Sox are off to an unbelievable start.
Off the top.
Speaking of starts, the puck drops tonight on the Stanley Cup playoffs with the Pens and Golden Knights among the 6 teams in action. Can't say enough about what Vegas has done in their premier first year in the league. The Penguins are looking to become the first team to win the Stanley Cup in 3 straight seasons since the Islanders took it in 4 straight from 1980 to 1983.
And the Vegas Golden Knights weren't even on the ice for those 2 Penguins titles. No expansion team has reached a Stanley Cup final since 1968, when the entire West Division was comprised of expansion teams. So that's a little while. They've been fantastic. And again, I'll say, because we've always wondered, what was it going to be like in Vegas? First, again, always happy there's pro sports now in Vegas, but how would 41 home games work? How would that work? How would the consistency work there of fans and kind of holding in the Golden Knights, saying this is our own team right now? I believe they ended up 4th in the league in attendance. So I think that showed pretty well with the Raiders coming in a couple of years there. But what they've done has been nothing short of incredible. Now let's see what kind of run they can make in the playoffs.
Great proof of concept. Again, another team that's going to be able to look at this season fondly as something to build off of now going forward. But We talked yesterday a lot about the Penguins and now their quest to do something that is so rare in all of sports, but especially in a sport that is as difficult to win a championship in as professional hockey.
Look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Nothing is harder than winning the Stanley Cup. I mean, NFL is a very physical sport. There's no question about it, but you get 6 or 7 days in between games. You watch a team trying to win a Stanley Cup. It's like a triage unit after every game.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
I mean, you got guys that are pretty big, pretty strong, pretty fast, on blades of steel, skating around on ice, just getting whacked with sticks in the face. I mean, it's an unbelievable thing, and we'll see what happens.
And the beards get really long.
The beards get long and smelly. The stink of the rink is a real thing.
Unless you're Sidney Crosby, and then it's sort of
there you go.
Patchy and it's awful, and you get a weird mustache.
But
How about this,
do what you have to do.
First time since 1945?
Yeah.
No New York or Chicago basketball or hockey team
Unbelievable,
in
right?
the playoffs.
That is a big drought. By the way, okay, again, if you weren't with us at the top of the show, A, where were you? B, Golic is back from 2 days off, and he is dealing with microphone failure.
Yes, I am. I'm actually holding the microphone together right now. If I were to let go of this microphone, it would fall off. I need an Allen wrench.
And ladies and gentlemen, now walking in,
Devin!
Bubble Boy, Devin is here.
You have a whole bag. I need one Allen wrench. You haven't. Get over here.
So if those not watching on ESPN News, Devin is walked in, I guess, with carry-on luggage and 4,000 pieces of equipment. And he's dropping them now on the set.
Got about every size Allen wrench
let me guess, it doesn't fit.
Allen wrench doesn't fit.
Is that not the one? All right, we got.
It's an idiot.
Do we have a drill bit?
Wow! Oh wow! This is a pretty extensive. Where do we get this toolkit?
Do we have
from?
a flux capacitor?
Devin, is this yours?
It's all ball bearings these days, kids.
It is impressive. I saw them going to work on Devin's microphone back there.
Devin gave me an Allen wrench.
And it's the
I
wrong
saw them
size Allen
practicing in there, like on the mics in there, and I said, "Give me an Allen wrench."
Oh, there it is. There it is. We've completely lost all hope.
He handed it to me. He said, "This is the one," and it's 3 sizes too big.
Yeah.
I mean, you're an idiot. You are truly an idiot.
Well, to be fair, it's not like we can just find a million different Allen wrenches at 6:16 in the morning.
There's a ton of them.
We have
here.
all of them right here. We have every size Allen wrench you could ask for right now.
We have all of them.
Well, hold on. It seems to me we have everyone except the one we need.
Well, no, he set down the whole set and handed me the one and was sure that this was the one.
It's not even closely remotely the one.
Devin, I watched you guys do it in there.
The thing is, we weren't exactly sure which piece needed. There's a lot of different parts on here that could be tightened.
This is part of our expansive show budget, by the way, that we cannot even find the right Allen. Do we have the right Allen wrench now? Golic is playing around with the Allen wrenches.
Can I just say, by the way?
Yeah. It's radio. You can say.
This feels like sabotage. This feels like foul play. This feels like someone came in here and tampered. Now, I'm not talking about you, Devin. I'm saying someone from outside this show, because I trust the people in this room.
Do you?
But someone from outside this show.
No.
Oh, really?
Well, it was that.
Really?
Well, you just said "oh really" to something that no one heard. So what was the "oh really"?
No, it's an original thought in my mind that I haven't decided to share with you guys yet.
It's not an original thought. Someone said something.
No one said anything in my ear.
Control room. And
but Kevin Winter did call the hotline.
You thought it was on the air, and you just said "oh really" as if everybody heard what you heard.
No, I can distinguish what's on the air and what's not. So I was but no one was talking. No one was talking to me anyway. It was an original thought as I try and sit here and filibuster for a guy poorly using tools on the set.
Are we getting closer as he's found the wrench? It looks like there's some torque and some tension, because that's what we need. We need that thing back together. So Golic is really doing a wonderful job trying to get that Allen wrench. It looks like we've got it going.
It was Jordan Rogers.
No, I just like to throw this out. When he's doing his radio show here from Bristol, Stephen A. comes in here at times. So can we say that Stephen A. is a suspect in this?
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
All right, we've eliminated Stephen A.
It's broken in half, but it's staying on right now.
It's working?
It's working.
Okay.
Yeah.
Working is a relative term.
Yeah,
for the
point.
moment, let me put it this way. When we say it's working, it's not completely falling apart.
No, it is not completely falling apart. I'll fix it in the break.
All right, Devin, you would like to say something?
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, boy. Okay.
I'm sweating through my V-neck.
Yeah, I was about to say, the V-neck is also a very curious choice. I mean, we saw how poorly that went with Damian Woody, our fellow, on another show. So let's eliminate the V-necks from the selections.
Yeah, I may have to.
Man, that was great TV but bad radio.
I'm not sure that any of this is good for anybody as we continue. Hey, let's sound off, shall we, on this Rookie of the Year debate in the NBA. It's brought to you by ADT. Considering home security? Well, consider this. For 140 years, ADT has helped stop more crime than any other home security company. Visit ADT.com to learn more. Okay, so what we have is a full-blown sort of pseudo-shade battle between Donovan Mitchell and Ben Simmons.
Right.
Ben Simmons said the other day, I 100% should win the NBA Rookie of the Year. Is there anybody else that should be considered? And he said no. Then Donovan Mitchell, who is actually more technically a Rookie of the Year than Ben Simmons, who, of course, it's not his rookie year. He just didn't play that first year, showed up at the arena last night with the hoodie that said Rookie, and the definition of it, someone who's playing in their first year in the league. And after his big game and the big win over Golden State, he was asked about said hoodie.
Just having fun with it. After yesterday, I decided to have a little fun. Adidas, helped me out with that. But, just letting people know the definition. And that's all it is.
So that was what he had to say after the game. Ha, 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 joke, 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 laugh, laugh, laugh. So then Ben Simmons was asked about said hoodie from Donovan Mitchell, and this was his response.
What was the definition?
An athlete that plays in his first year in sport. Plays being the key word.
I think if his argument is that I'm not a rookie, if that's the only argument he has, I'm in pretty good shape now. So there's a rule in the NBA for a reason. I'm not going to wear a sweatshirt tomorrow, though.
So are we Team Mitchell or Team Simmons?
Well, here's the thing. Under the rules, Ben Simmons is a rookie, and I think Ben Simmons will be the Rookie of the Year. Now, Donovan Mitchell's had, averaging, 20, leading them in scoring, 20 and 4-4, where Ben Simmons is 16-8-8. I think Simmons is going to win it. By definition, he's a rookie. I think it's, now, my personal opinion, I think it's ridiculous that he's considered a rookie. I think it's a joke. I mean, even though you don't play, you're with a team. You're with a professional team the entire year you're not playing. You're getting professional coaching. You are in the pros for that year even though you're not playing, so that next year you're considered a playing rookie by league standards. Joel Embiid was 2 seasons, right, Brett? 2 seasons, and then he came back, and he was a rookie. That's a joke. That makes zero sense to me at all. You are in the pros. You are getting paid pro dollars. You are sitting on a pro bench. You are going through all the professional NBA basketball things. So I think it's a ridiculous rule, but it's a rule. So he's allowed to win Rookie of the Year, and I think Ben Simmons will win Rookie of the Year.
Do you think it's as ridiculous in college that you can make the freshman All-American team as a redshirt freshman?
As a redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
Look at you, Junior.
I think you'd have to, right? I think you would have to.
I think for consistency's sake now, I would look at that in both instances, because at least as a redshirt freshman, you can argue that you were there and doing all those things healthy. You were a healthy scratch. Ben Simmons had, a broken foot last year?
He did have a broken foot.
So it wasn't like he was on the court getting a lot of this in. He was rehabbing. He wasn't benefiting in all of the ways that we would normally associate with this. So I don't think it's quite as simple as you were around getting all of this great benefit from this situation, just sitting there not playing as a rookie.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you one question. When you sat in the meeting room for the Pittsburgh Steelers or the New Orleans Saints, did you learn more about professional football than sitting in the meeting room at Notre Dame?
Oh, you absolutely learned
you do.
A lot.
So I mean, he whether he played or not, he was in the meetings. He was at the court. Whether he wasn't playing or not, he was watching professional basketball, being coached by professionals. I just don't see it. Again, I'm yelling about something that makes no sense because the rule's the rule.
Well, welcome to sports.
I just don't agree that if you're out of your rookie year, you should still be considered a rookie.
At the end of the day, even if you're not playing, you're learning how to deal with all the stuff that will help affect your play because you're not worried about all that other stuff going forward. And there's a really good analogy that Ben Simmons actually mentioned in this, and we'll get to that.
Hey everyone, Mike Golic here. Support for the Golic Wingo podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage. By Quicken Loans, chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. With Rocket Mortgage, you can apply simply and understand fully so you can mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Mikes. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS ConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Winning at sports and at sports broadcasting means changing things up.
Just like La Quinta Inns and Suites is changing up their look.
A renovated lobby that's so contemporary it even makes Golic look cool.
Yes, it does. And a totally updated fitness center that even has Wingo feeling like a workout.
I'm ripped. Plus plenty of comfortable spaces to hang out.
Yep, this La Quinta look definitely has a vibe of victory.
So you can just relax, refresh, and get ready for your next big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com. Golic Wingo, ESPN Radio, ESPN News, presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. First and foremost, if you're with us the last segment, thanks for sticking around.
Yeah.
We have a microphone update after the microphone failed to start the show.
Something with the plate that broke off, the screw wouldn't go back into it, so we replaced the entire microphone.
We had a whole new microphone.
Whole crew came in. We did. It was, you know what it was like? It was like a pit stop.
Pit stop.
Yeah. Came in. They did a good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
They had a little more time than the regular.
A little
pit
more
stop.
time. A little more time. Steve and Dave came in, did a good job.
Good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Fantastic. So the microphone is now up and working.
Up and working, all running together, working enough for me to give you a couple of tweets here at Golic and Wingo about the Ben Simmons, Donovan Mitchell Rookie of the Year. And, of course, like everything else, it goes both ways. Golic, I couldn't agree with you more about your Rookie of the Year argument in the NBA. Jonathan says, hey, Golic, stop it. He didn't have a chance to play. He broke his foot. How is that a benefit? Stop hating us because the process worked. Your son, Golic Jr. is wise.
Oh, I love the us thing there.
I mean,
who's us?
At first, my God, don't take it to I hate the process and your team. It's such a cop-out. All right, I'm talking about one subject here, and that's Rookie of the Year. I love the process, what worked. I played most of my years in Philly. I love Philly, so just knock that garbage off, Jonathan. I just disagree with the fact that even if you sit around, you are getting the benefit of being a pro. Even if it's just in meetings, even if it's standing on the court. And I don't know if he didn't do anything all year, no practicing or anything like that. I don't recall, quite honestly. But I'll even say he didn't. I don't care. If you're on the court, if you're in meetings, you're getting the benefit of professional coaching, which is different than college coaching, and certainly for him at LSU.
To that point, Donovan Mitchell had a great comment on this, and this is what he said. I'm not sure it was after last night's game or it was recently. He said, let me put it in parlance that a lot of people would understand that don't play basketball. Let's say you have a test to study for June 1st, but you have a whole year to study for that test, as opposed to a guy who's got to come in and take that test after 2 days of studying.
Right.
Who's going to do better? The guy that had a year to study?
Yeah.
Or the person that had a couple hours to study?
Certainly the guy that had a year of study. Yeah.
That's Donovan's argument. Look, it's an irrelevant argument.
Yeah, it is.
Because Ben Simmons is going to win.
Right.
Because of the way the rule is set up.
Right.
However, that being said, I think Donovan Mitchell has a point here.
Plus, I would say if Donovan Mitchell were to win, even with Ben Simmons considered a rookie, I don't think that would be a shock either, right? I just think Ben Simmons is going to win. I don't think you can tell me if Donovan Mitchell, all of a sudden they say he's a Rookie of the Year, people are going to be that outraged, right? He's had a great year.
No, and I think that's the interesting part of this, though, and I think I saw Bomani tweet something about this yesterday, but the fact that that's not the crux of the argument, not just, I think I'm better than this guy. It's like, let me win on this technicality.
Right, exactly.
I don't know how much of it is that and how much of it is the thing that he thinks he's better, right? I mean, where's the sliding scale?
Well, Donovan Mitchell's the one bringing up the whole rookie thing. Yeah. So, I mean, if he should say I'm better. Even though he's considered a rookie and I don't think he's a rookie, I still think I was a better player this year. We didn't hear that. Oh, we're just kind of hearing the rookie, you shouldn't be a rookie argument. Not that he's better.
I bet you he believes he's better.
Oh, I'm sure he believes he's better.
Oh, I'm sure he does. His hoodie didn't say that, though.
Yeah. No. Well, here's the other thing. I think we're missing the real story here in the Rookie of the Year discussion. It's got to be Andre Ingram.
Yeah.
The kid, right? How about this?
The kid.
The 32. Hey, listen, at our age, they're all kids.
That's exactly right.
This, if you didn't see, the G League call-up Andre Ingram in his NBA debut scored 19 points. Now, that's great, G League call-up, yeah. Let me explain. He's 32 years old. He waited 10 years to get an opportunity in the NBA, and when he did, he showed out with 19 points, I think 4 of 5 shooting from deep. He was unbelievable. This was Rudy-esque, except it wasn't 6 seconds.
Right.
It was an actual full game.
Great for him. I mean, listen, he put his time in the G League. I mean, holy smokes. That's a long time to be just year after year in there. And I think it's a cool thing. He got a chance and he made the most of his chance. Good story for him.
Oh, yeah, I think especially side by side. I know the Cavaliers just signed Kendrick Perkins for their playoff roster, who had been down in the G League for this year after being a guy who had been a part of an NBA championship, multiple finals appearances, and people said, wow, he was willing to go and put the work in there for a year. This guy's been down there for a decade hoping for a shot. Cool video of Magic Johnson coming in for that moment and helping sign him to the team, and just it's one of those other underdog stories we love about sports, a guy whose persistence gets rewarded.
It's a 30 for 30 in the making. 30 for 30 short. That's what's going to happen. There's no question about that, along with the backup goalie that came in for the Chicago Blacks.
Right.
We'll put those two together.
Right.
Put them two together, we've got a great story. But let's go back to the discussion of Simmons versus Mitchell, because you're right. Mitchell's argument has been publicly, hey, he's not technically a rookie. However, you could make the argument that he's playing just as well as Simmons. For example, both the Sixers and the Jazz are three seeds in their conferences. Mitchell just set the record for most threes made by a rookie. And again, Mitchell is leading a 45-plus win team in scoring in his rookie year. The only other people to do that, David Robinson, Larry Bird, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Wilt Chamberlain. So taking away the technicality side of it that Donovan seems to be stressing, perhaps he should be stressing this to make people stand up and pay attention a little bit more.
Oh, I would absolutely agree. You could make this argument. We give narrative MVPs and awards out all the time. That's what's going to happen more than likely with James Harden this year. Not that he's not deserving, but we kind of need that surrounding narrative to fill it out. That was the conversation we had about Russell Westbrook and his unimpressive second straight season of potential triple-double average.
Because we're over it. It happened one time before, and we gave him the MVP because it had never happened before. He has a chance to do it again, which no one has ever done, and we're like, yeah, been there, done that already. In the MVP discussion.
So really quickly, technically with this Rookie of the Year and Ben Simmons, is Ben Simmons also eligible for Comeback Player of the Year?
Oh, that would be. Well, let's get researcher Brett on that, because I'm sure he would like to share something on air with us eventually.
Yeah, well, he will. I'm just giving him away. I honestly don't know the answer to that.
I don't know either.
But I mean, he's as far as I'm concerned, not a rookie yet. He's eligible for Rookie of the Year, and he's coming back from injury. And he's playing incredibly well, so can he be comeback player of the year?
So are we saying then, more than anything else, as we're talking about the Rookie of the Year debate in the NBA between Donovan Mitchell and Ben Simmons, is Mitchell presenting the wrong argument more than anything else? Because by some of his accomplishments, you could make it a much better discussion instead of saying, wait, here's Article 4, subset 5, paragraph 3.
It's because that discussion is only set for shows like this.
Yeah.
Because it's a rule. So we're just sitting there saying, I don't like that rule.
But he seems to be stressing the rule part of it.
Mitchell should be just saying, I'm better than he is. I'm playing better than he is. Yeah. But he's now saying, I don't care about the Rookie of the Year, yet he wears the hoodie and talking about the rules.
Let's be clear about that. He cares.
Absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with caring. This also doesn't fit as neatly and concisely on a hooded sweatshirt, which Adidas made for him. So I don't even know if it was at his request or if Adidas just read the situation and said, hey, we can move some merch in this.
Yeah, but again, it's his choice to wear it or not.
Oh, it is his choice to wear it. And I'm sure, listen, it brings attention to him, and we know a lot of this can be about campaigning. We saw LeBron out actively campaigning for his own MVP. So I'm sure Donovan Mitchell thought, you know what? It can't hurt.
And look, you're right. And we're not discrediting Ben Simmons in any way, shape, or form here. But let me ask you this. Which conference is deeper? The West or the East?
I think we all believe the West is deeper.
Okay, so being the third place team in the West, being led by scoring as your rookie, is that more impressive than being the third team in the East?
That's the thing. I'd rather debate whether he deserves the award off of play and not off a technicality of we don't think Ben Simmons should be a rookie. Though I know I don't. I don't know if your thought is that way as well. Do you disagree with Ben Simmons being a rookie? Considered a rookie?
No.
You don't. So you have no problem with that. They don't do it. No NFL, they don't do it there. It doesn't mean you can't do it other places, but I just don't get it. I don't understand why you would still be considered a rookie.
I think it's strange, but I think it pales in comparison to everything else in this conversation. And
I'm with you. The bottom line is Donovan Mitchell should have the absolute argument that I'm a better player or I've played better, had a better year than he is, and there would be a lot of people that would agree.
And by the numbers, you can make that argument, again, to the point you guys have made. He's trying to pick the other argument, which I don't think is helping his cause. All right, we'll never get to the solve of this. By the way, we're all on Andre Ingram, Rookie of the Year. Congratulations. Mm-hmm. Coming up, an athlete retired yesterday, citing major stress. We'll get into that.
Here's a little insider travel secret. There are tons of empty hotel rooms out there just waiting to be booked. That's why there's Hotel Tonight. Hotel Tonight partners with awesome hotels to help them fill their unsold rooms, which means you get incredible deals. And even though the name's Hotel Tonight, you can actually book up to a week in advance and up to 100 days in advance in top destinations. So download the Hotel Tonight app to start scoring better deals at better hotels now.
All right, Golic and Wingo presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests will join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. But hey,
yes,
we got an answer to your question, Mike.
We did. I asked Ben Simmons. Didn't play last year because he was hurt from an injury, so he came back. He can be Rookie of the Year, but he's coming back from an injury. So can he be the Comeback Player of the Year?
And researcher Brett?
We got an answer. We found out if Ben Simmons can become a Comeback Player of the Year. Brett?
They haven't awarded the Comeback Player of the Year in the NBA since 1986. So no.
That would be a hard pass.
So what you're saying is no.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a no. Hard no.
I was surprised at that. Were you surprised at that?
I was. I didn't know. I had to look it up. They do it in the NFL, obviously, but they haven't done it in the NBA since Marcus Johnson won in 1986.
Okay.
Wow.
There you go.
That was, you know what? We ask questions and we want answers.
We get answers.
Got a definitive answer, too.
Specifically on that one, you asked that question and you got an answer.
So that would be no, you blank, which is what you want to say for even thinking about it.
It's an Allen key, Mike. It's an Allen key, not an Allen wrench. Exclamation point.
Relax, Leonard.
All capitals.
Brett also has something on the Allen wrench, too, that he would like to inform us
The
about.
Allen Company from Hartford, Connecticut has the trademark on that, the Allen wrench. Is the most common name for something that's also called an Allen key.
There you go.
So the more common thing is Allen wrench.
Correct.
So I'm going
to take that, Leonard.
I'm going to answer Leonard back in all caps.
Yeah,
nerd.
With 3 exclamation points.
There you
by
go.
The way.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so we move on, and it looks like Richie Incognito, the Buffalo Bills left guard, is moving on. Says he's retiring after 12 seasons in the NFL. But here's why he says he's retiring: because of medical issues. He says, "I'm done. That's it." He told the Buffalo News, "It's been a long career. My liver and kidneys are shutting down. Nothing I can't restore with some balance, but the stress is killing me." And when we saw that, I think all of us went to some certain place with the idea of stress and Richie Incognito in football because of the position he plays. My son played offensive line. Mike, you played offensive line. I don't think there's a more stressful position in football than offensive line because, let's be honest, the whole thing is about not succeeding, but basically not being called out for failure.
Yeah, it's essentially all you're looking at is you're the one position on the field where your name getting called is usually never a good thing. And so you operate in a life of not only trying not to let the other 4 guys there along with you down, but everyone behind you, because it's the stress of saying, and this is so unique to the sport of football, where it's one of the only sports where your mistakes cost someone else physically. If I falter up front as a member of the offensive line, one of my friends who's playing running back or quarterback usually gets blasted. There's usually a very serious physical toll. So, yeah, there's an added level of stress to that position that you can't really replicate elsewhere.
Yeah, and listen, there are stress in a lot of positions, but I certainly have noticed as well the offensive lineman seems to kind of lead the pack with that. But and I'm sure there are going to be people out there that say stress. You're getting paid millions of dollars to play a game.
They don't understand.
And there is the stress. And I heard you talking about this morning, Mike, of trying to make ends meet. Off of minimum wage, and absolutely agree, completely agree. But we're talking about within the sport of what goes on within the sport. And there are a lot of people that worry every single day who are playing the sport. And Richie certainly who has told us and come out and said he has had some, mental health situations that he's dealing with as well, that this is one where now physically it's affecting him, mentally it's affecting him, and you just want him to get his life in the right order.
Yeah, we remember he actually sought professional help back in 2014 after everything that had happened down in Miami, and this becomes the complicated nature of discussing Richie Incognito's. A lot of people won't let the conversation get beyond that and what happened in Miami and what they know about that situation. But this is a guy who's complex, who's had his own issues. And I mean, just reading the tweets, and I don't know Richie and I don't know anything about what's actually happening to him right now, but you look at this tweets and the way he's gone about this. I mean, announcing his retirement, tweeting at George Atala and the NFLPA, basically saying, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then doing the same with his former agency that he fired along the way. It's just been a really curious pattern of behavior here that makes you wonder, with all the stress, with the things guys constantly put their body through to be ready for game day, the way all of that adds up. and the fact that with offensive linemen and with the NFL in general, we don't really talk about mental health the same way in the NFL that we do the other sports because of that overhanging umbrella of CTE that everyone just wants to lump everything under.
Well, not only that, but they, tough it out, be there for your, all that kind of stuff. Rub some dirt on it. It's a different mentality when it comes to football as opposed to some of these other sports. And then there's the issue, and that's one side of it, but the other side of it, strictly to Richie's position. Gary Zimmerman is the only player in NFL history, Hall of Fame offensive lineman, to be all-decade team twice. He was an all-decade team member in the 80s and all-decade team in the 90s. And every time he played for the Denver Broncos, he lined up next to our pal Mark Schlereth.
Right.
Stink would tell me after every huddle, he'd walk to the line and say, Stink, what's my assignment again? What's my assignment again? He was terrified that he would not get his assignment right, and somehow, some way, he would mess it up and either cause the play to fail or get John Elway hurt. We're talking about arguably one of the best to ever play the position, and he was driven by this absolute fear of messing up, and he was stressed out every single time.
Yeah, and there's certainly more to jump in here because there are those that are never going to give Richie the benefit of the doubt of what went on in Miami.
And that's a separate thing as well.
And it is, but it all comes in together with how it affects him and his decision to retire, both from the physical side and the mental side of his reasons for leaving the game, or at this point saying he's leaving the game.
And that was Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE network. Coming up, are the Sixers playoff fool's gold? Our next guest thinks so.
I don't know how else to say this, so I'll just say it.
What is it, Linda?
I think we should see other people.
Are you breaking up with me? On a roller coaster?
Well, we do have a lot of fun. Maybe we should stay together.
An emotional roller coaster? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
I just need a little me time.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Did you know that 66% of men lose their hair by age 35? Thing is, when you start to notice hair loss, it's too late. It's easier to keep the hair you have than replace the hair you've lost. Is that hairline slowly starting to move backwards? Bald spots yet? Why don't you do something about it first? You need to visit 4hims.com, a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, and other issues for men. Thanks to science, baldness can be optional. Hims connects you with real doctors and medical-grade solutions to treat your hair loss. They have well-known generic equivalents to name-brand prescriptions to help you keep your hair. No snake oil pills or gas station counter supplements. Just prescription solutions backed by science. No waiting room, no awkward doctor visits. Save hours by going to 4hims.com. Answer a few quick questions. The doctor will review and give you a prescription, and the products are shipped directly to your door. Order now, and our listeners get a trial month of Hims for just $5 today right now while supplies last. See the website for full details. This would cost hundreds if you went to the doctor or a pharmacy. Go to 4hims.com/wingo. That's FORHIMS.com/wingo. 4hims.com/wingo.
Flap. Pustule. Jowls. Nugget. Gurgle. Smear. Bulbous. Pork.
If you hear certain words on the job site,
baloney.
Work can be uncomfortable.
Tender.
So at least get work gear that's comfortable. Timberland Pro work shirts, pants, and boots. Head to toe, Timberland Pro. Not uncomfortable.
Moist.
Draymond got kicked in the Little Warriors.
Insert team nickname. Does it work for all of them?
The Little Heat?
The Little Raptors.
Oh, the Little Knicks.
The Little Knicks.
Oh man.
Little Rockets.
Not really good.
The Little Rockets.
The Little Magic.
Ooh. Oh, wait, did we seriously skip the best one? Did I miss the Little Nuggets?
Golic and Wingo with you on a Wednesday morning. ESPN Radio, ESPN News, presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests will join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. We have established that the microphone is back up and working.
Yes, it is.
For you, right? Mm-hmm. We had a little issue at the top. You back after 2 days away for the Darius Rucker Monday after the Masters tournament when there was no golf but lots of everything else because of the weather.
Yep.
And the first segment right away, your microphone fell apart.
Fell apart. I had to hold it together for 20 minutes.
And you did hold it together.
I did. And then a couple of guys came in. Steve and Dave did a quick pit stop change on the microphone. We're good to go.
Good to go. We have Ryan Hollins in the studio with us, giving us a Straight Talk, our NBA analyst, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless, best phones, best network, and no contracts. Here's the problem with having you on the show. For those of you that don't watch on ESPN News, Mike and I essentially are glorified slobs at this point.
Yeah.
we're happy with that. The idea of never dressing up again is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ryan comes in here, 3-piece suit, boutonniere, got the kerchief in the pocket. Dude, you're killing us.
You guys have earned the right. I've got to come in dressed like this. You have earned the right to come in relax.
So you're kind of waiting for the day when you can do that, huh? You're also the only person that walks in the studio that has to duck. So you're 7 feet, right?
Understand this, though. I'm legitimately 7 feet. You don't see that anywhere else. I have no mid-range. I'm today's NBA. So I'm either in sandals, shorts, and flip-flops, or in a 3-piece suit. No mid-range.
We
pull-up jumper.
We need to work on your mid-range game. Yeah. Listen, this show is all about mid-range.
Yeah,
okay,
casual.
We'll never be up here.
Right? Yeah.
Occasionally we'll be down here. Yeah. We like to be right here. We like to put the bar on this show just low enough so we can jump over it.
Oh my God.
We're trying not to stress ourselves in any way, shape, or form. We'll get to more with Ryan in just a minute, but let's start with what's trending. And here's what's trending for the Red Sox. They're never losing again. They're going 161-1 after losing on opening day in Tampa. Mookie Betts, big performance, 4 for 5 with a grand slam. Had that grand slam in a 9-run 6th inning as they just destroyed the Yankees up at Fenway 14-1.
You know, let's look at the managers. How about this? First, Alex Cora improved to 9-1 in the first 10 games. It came 12 minutes after the Mets improved to 9-1 in Mickey Callaway's first season. Before Tuesday, only 2 managers in the modern era since 1900 had won 9 of their first 10 games as a manager, according to Live Sports. So got a couple of them now. Pretty impressive.
Is it fair to say 1900 is now the modern era? That seems like that seems like one of those phrases that should be updated.
Yeah,
in the modern era, going back to 1900. When there were no cars.
We should make it more modern.
Exactly.
Shouldn't we?
We should change the date on what is the air quotes modern era if it goes back to 1900.
And by the way, for those that were listening last hour, you'll get this reference. That was the last time they gave out the NBA Comeback Player of the Year award.
Oh my God.
So you just said Marcus Johnson is 400 years old. By the way.
There you go.
Still one of my favorite parts in White Man Can't Jump.
There you go.
Marcus Johnson in that movie. He was terrific.
Old school.
All right. ESPN saying the Warriors and All-Star Kevin Durant, things are going to get interesting. The reigning NBA Finals MVP is going to be opting out of his player option of $26.2 million, a figure well below the player of his magnitude, in order to restructure a new deal with the Warriors. That is what ESPN sources are reporting.
Yeah, you know, that discounted deal. So I mean,
discounted at $26 million.
How about that? Who wouldn't love that discount? I mean, is he a guy, Ryan, that's doing... let me ask you.
Just say it. Come on.
Go ahead.
Come on. No, I mean, Kate, are you going to ask, is he underachieving? Is he worth that?
No.
What? Talk to me. Where
he's
you going?
doing, I mean, where you get players that want to do stuff for their team, and you get players that are looked at as good people when they do that, and then it makes others who say, I want the full max, I want my deal, that you say, well, wait a minute, are you being selfish? Because look at what some of these other players are doing. This happens in the NFL all the time.
This is a Golden State discount. You know this is a special situation. Just for him to get on the Warriors, it had to happen like this. So now he's going to be rewarded. This was a handshake deal already done. Don't worry, take less, you'll opt out. We're going to give you that mega max. You'll be good, KD.
Yeah, to that point, he took about a $10 million pay cut in that 2-year, $51 million deal that he originally signed with the Warriors, so we'll see what happens going forward. But you think he's not going anywhere?
No. Well, he might join Houston if they win a championship. No, I'm joking. Don't run.
Well, let's get through this. I want to ask one more on KD and his salary after we get through this.
And here's what else is trending. Patriots owner Robert Kraft is having a very interesting offseason. You might recall that he used the Patriots' private plane to fly kids from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida, where the site of that massacre was with the school shooting. He used his plane to fly a bunch of those kids up to the march in Washington D.C., March for Our Lives, and then recently he met with rapper Meek Mill in prison. Kraft there was his friend, entrepreneur Michael Rubin, to advocate for the release of Mill, whose real name is Robert Rameek Williams. Said Kraft, he's an amazing young man outside the Correctional Institution Center. I know how I'd feel if I were in the situation he is.
It's very interesting that in sports we tell everybody to just stick to sports. And then you
certainly what some owners in the NFL are telling players.
Some owners tell that to players, and then look at this owner's kind of doing, obviously flying the students,
It was a great gesture.
Yeah, but then other owners saying, yeah, just stick to sports, and that's what we're, and some more than a few owners not hiring certain players. And again, they're allowed to do that, and you're allowed to have your opinion on what you think about that, because some players are concentrating or sometimes advocating for things other than sports. Seems interesting.
Well, that's my point. And look, this is not happening on the football field.
Right.
That's a delineation and a distinction that people can make if they want to have this argument. But I find it to be very disingenuous now going forward. If, let's say, owners like Bob McNair, who's been very adamant for the Houston Texans about politics and sports should not mix. Well, he's making a lot of statements here. Is anybody telling Robert Kraft, hey, just stick to owning?
Yeah.
Is anyone telling him that?
I'm sure they're not.
Because, I mean, you can't if you're an owner, because you have the money and you can make all the decisions, but it seems a little disingenuous to me if people aren't going to say, hey, why are you doing all that? And then they're going to come down on the players for doing something that they feel is important.
Yep.
Very interesting, and we'll see how that plays out going forward. Okay. Let's get back to talk on the court NBA with Ryan Hollins. We've been having this discussion because it's the way both Donovan Mitchell and Ben Simmons have been having the discussion. The Rookie of the Year. Let's take away for a moment the technicality, which Donovan has been stressing, which I think hurts his argument about the Rookie of the Year. Instead of, as Golic astutely pointed out, just say, hey, I'm playing better than him. Right now, forgetting the argument for the first point of this discussion about whether or not Ben Simmons should be considered a Rookie of the Year. Mitchell, Simmons, who do you think is the better player?
This isn't even close. I can't believe you guys are asking. Clearly, this is Donovan Mitchell. Okay, let's give scenarios. I want you guys to help. Let's interact.
We by the way, we all thought you were going to say Ben Simmons.
Yeah, no, you didn't. Come on, fellas.
Excellent hot take on radio.
All right, hear me. If I told you before the season.
What if I told you?
If I told you before the season, and come with me, that you're going to lose Gordon Hayward, you're going to trade your starter / 6-man, Rodney Hood, and the Utah Jazz are going to make the playoffs in the West, would you agree with me or not? Or would you tell me I'm crazy?
No, you're crazy. I said you're nuts.
You tell me I'm crazy?
Yes.
In the East, if you take Ben Simmons off of Philadelphia, where's Philadelphia right now? Take him off. With Joel Embiid still there, take him off.
Well, Embiid isn't there right now.
No. I'm talking about the season. We're going big picture right now.
Okay.
Where is he?
They're not where they are now, are they?
Are they in the playoffs?
They're probably in the playoffs.
They're in the playoffs.
They're in the playoffs. But they're a low seed.
Exactly. Donovan Mitchell's doing something that none of us thought would happen. If you watch him on paper, you watch him on film, Donovan's making plays far beyond his years. There are a couple plays where you just scratch your head. Not just that, he passes the eye test. Right now, Ben Simmons is exciting everybody. They're playing the worst schedule in the league down the stretch. They are playing tanking teams. For those at home don't understand when I say tanking, that means I'm trying to lose the game.
Right.
I'm giving you the game.
Well, and then the other part of this is to that point about the easier schedule. Not only are they playing tanking teams, but both of these teams now led by rookies, depending on whether you like the technicality or not. That's the official distinction in the NBA. They're both 3 seeds. What's a harder thing to be right now, a 3 seed in the West or a 3 seed in the East?
He's doing. We just said Donovan's doing
exactly
in the West, and it's unthinkable. And if you want to go down to numbers, the Western Conference has been beating up the East. And if you know, everybody say, "Oh, Donovan put on this shirt, he's doing all this and that," they just beat the stuffing out of Golden State
by 40 points.
By 40 points. They didn't have Steph, but golly.
So why is Ben Simmons going to win the award?
He's not.
You don't think he's going to win?
No, he's not going to win. You know what? He could win, and I wouldn't even mind. Deservedly so, I could see co-rookies of the year. That would not be a bad look for the league.
But you really think? I mean, because everybody else seems to be seeding this thing. I mean, here's what Stephen A. Smith had to say about the idea of Simmons versus Mitchell.
Now, Ben Simmons will probably get it. I'm no fool. He's got the shine. He's got the cachet. He's in the Philadelphia market, not Utah. He's box office already. All of that is true. Ben Simmons, his ball handling skills, his basketball prowess, his IQ, the whole 9. Ben Simmons is special, y'all. I would never take Donovan Mitchell over him. But I got news for you. Donovan Mitchell is pretty much all Utah has. And they're the 4th seed in the West.
That was yesterday, of course. So, now they're the 3 seed in the West, much as the Sixers
So
are.
He said he would never take Donovan Mitchell over Ben Simmons. You're saying that's completely wrong.
As Rookie of the Year?
Yeah.
No, Donovan is the Rookie of the Year. This is not even close. Ben Simmons is, listen, this is real sexy, fellas. A 6'10", power forward who Ben legitimately plays point guard. Now, he could be a better player down the stretch. I think of Dwayne Wade, LeBron James. D-Wade may have been better earlier. He was more mature. He played his years in college. He was ready. He wowed the league. But you knew LeBron James had that special type of potential. These are the poor man's LeBron and D-Wade right now that we're watching.
So with that in mind, has Donovan Mitchell, has the error he's been, is making the wrong argument? Because, he wore the hoodie last night that said, the definition of what a rookie is. And then he had the statement a few days ago that said, let me ask you a question. Let's say you have a test on June 1st, and one person has 3 days to study for it, and another person has a year to study for it. Who's going to do better on that test? Obviously the guy who's had a year. So is he undermining his own argument by focusing on the wrong things?
No, he's just getting money from Adidas.
Well, that's the sweatshirt, but I mean the other statement.
No. If the argument gets to the skinny, which it's doing, this is happening. Listen, Simmons is getting the popular vote, all right? Everybody likes Philadelphia. We believe in the process. We love what's going on. But with him having the popular vote, this is a factor. It's his second year. Yeah, he's a rookie, but it's his second year, and it makes what Donovan's doing more impressive because it's getting just that close.
Well, and by the way, we can't change the rule. What do you think of that rule? I can't stand the rule.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it because the guys should be able to participate. We have excitement right now that we wouldn't have. Anything that's pro league, pro player, giving guys opportunity, even though we may not like it, we got to be with it. So as a former player, that's the coolest thing ever. I wouldn't mind Cole's fella. Yeah. I wouldn't mind Cole.
You'd be okay with that, but you would have a problem if Ben Simmons beat out Donovan Mitchell.
I would have a problem. Donovan's no one thought this would happen.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, listen, the Sixers turnaround has been remarkable as well. It has, but a couple of things to bolster your point, okay? We said this earlier. Donovan Mitchell is a rookie leading a team that has at least 45 wins in scoring in his rookie year. That's happened to only 4 other players ever. Here's the last 4 guys to do it. David Robinson, Larry Bird, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Wilt Chamberlain. That seems to be a big check in Donovan Mitchell's category. And the other thing is, you mentioned the Sixers, they won 15 straight, and that's great. They're beating the teams they should beat, right?
Yes.
We all think, as you said, a lot of those teams are tanking. Let's look at what the Jazz have done. They were 18-27 on January 19th. They have gone 30-6 down the stretch of the season. 30-6, and twice dismantled the Golden State Warriors by at least 30 points.
I mean, how tight is the West?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Did we really think that they would make the playoffs?
No.
Oh,
and now again, their game tonight against Portland decide the 3 and 4 seed. Going now to a team that Trey just mentioned, Golden State. You have concern for them going into the playoffs? If so, how much?
This is huge. This is a red flag. I mean, you get blasted by 40 with your starters. That's a horrible sign.
No Steph, though.
It doesn't matter without Steph. When you're missing one Monstar, and you have the rest. Okay,
but they have been a different team forever without Steph. I mean, other people can score, and I get that point, but there's a different energy and a different attitude with this team when Steph is out there.
They didn't lose to the Houston Rockets firing all cylinders. They didn't firing on all cylinders. They didn't lose to Oklahoma City. They didn't lose to LeBron last night. They lost to Utah.
Yeah.
They got absolutely blasted. Now I understand, don't read into the 40-point blowout. They emptied the benches. They let the guys play. For Utah, that was a playoff game. You want to play your best against the best. Donovan Mitchell had something to prove, obviously, and he did last night. So it is a cause for concern because you don't want that mentality going into the finish.
The flip the switch mentality.
Along those lines, Steph won't be around for the first round, and you sit there, and there's only 5 seeds of the 16 set, 1 and 2 in both conferences and 5 with the Pacers in the East. For the 7th seed in the West, the teams that have a percentage to get there, the Spurs, the Timberwolves, the Nuggets, and the Pelicans. Which would be worse? That's who Golden State would have to play. Which would be the worst opponent?
Right now, the biggest problem with Golden State right now, and this is hard for me to say, is mental toughness. It's consistency. They're still trying to figure out how to play together without Steph. So if you want to avoid anyone, it's the Spurs. The most consistent team and coach in the last however many years.
Probably about 18 or 19.
Right.
Yeah.
The models of consistency. So the last thing I would want to do is play against somebody, a coach who's going to exploit my weaknesses, which the Spurs would do.
All right, Ryan Hollins with us, our NBA analyst here, with some very interesting and, quite frankly, some compelling arguments when you talk about the Ben Simmons versus Donovan Mitchell debate.
Not even
then there's this, okay? Daryl Morey, the GM for the Houston Rockets, has said all season long, we are obsessed with the Golden State Warriors. We are everything about our team is finding a way to beat the Golden State Warriors and take them down. So we know what the stated goal is for that franchise, right? It's not just about what happens for the first 82 games. It's about everything else and trying to find a way to best the Golden State Warriors. Then Mike D'Antoni, the head coach, said some things that were very interesting about the regular season. I read something the other day that said, sure, James Harden should be the MVP. Sure, Chris Paul and James have been great. Sure, they set a franchise record for wins by about 6 games worth, but they'll ultimately be judged if they win a championship or not. D'Antonio said before pausing, really, it doesn't diminish what these guys have done. So in other words, it sounds like he's saying, hey, yeah, we'd like to win the title, but if it doesn't, we still had a hell of a year. That seems to be in direct contrast with what the GM of the Houston Rockets, a.k.a. his boss, is saying what matters most.
Oh, man, I don't want to call this the stupidest thing that I've ever heard, but all I can say is that...
You're calling it the stupidest thing you've ever heard?
No. D'Antoni's trying to protect his guys. You know how it is in the locker room. We preach one message in the locker room, championship or nothing. This is our year. This is our window. Everything at stake, fellas. Let's fire on all cylinders. Do everything we have to do. As a matter of fact, we are going to do it. But to the media, it's just another game. It's no big deal. So then Tony, I'm pretty sure he's just playing the game right here.
Yeah, I would imagine. I would imagine players know that if they don't win the title, that it's and especially James Harden, knowing how his season ended last year, Game 6 against the Spurs, how the disappearing act. That where is he mentally, knowing he has to overcome that, let alone get to the title?
Hey man, forget James Harden, Chris Paul. Yeah. How many more years does he have left? As a player, you know championships are few to come by.
Right.
And when you see moments like this, when you see years like this, when you see teams like this, I did it with the Clippers. We all looked around and said, man, Blake Griffin, DeAndre, Chris Paul, Chauncey Billups, we were built in our minds for a championship opportunity. We didn't want to let waste by, and we've been preaching that all year long in the locker room. So if you're thinking about Chris Paul, he's going, how much do I have left? He didn't want to leave L.A., I get the whole Doc beef and all that nonsense or Austin Rivers, whatever was going on. He didn't want to leave L.A. He left L.A. for Houston to win a championship because that's right now how championships are won. Stars join up.
And then in the East, everybody loving Philadelphia right now. That game Friday with the Cavs was an excellent game to watch. No Joel Embiid, so everybody's like, oh, my God, when they get him back, that could be the team coming out of the East. And now you're jeopardizing all your cheesesteaks when you go to Philly, but you say the Sixers playoffs fool's gold. Why do you say that?
This is absolute fool's gold. This is like going out to the club, meeting a nice young lady, thinking you got a 10. You got a 10. You danced the night away, had a few beers, great night. You get home, you go on a date with her, you find out she's a 7. She's a cool girl, but she's only a 7. Let's not make too much of this. Let's appreciate greatness. I don't want to say greatness. Let's appreciate a good thing for what it is, okay? They played the softest schedule in the East. This is a young team. The only player on that roster, forgive me if I'm missing somebody, with playoff experience is J.J. Redick. That's my guy. But J.J. Redick cannot be your leader. That has to be Simmons. Listen, you know this. In the regular season versus the playoffs, it's just a night and day difference. This is something you got to go. I've seen it. I know what it's like, but the game is faster. There's more details. When you play in the playoffs, we would get a book about literally this thick.
Right.
This thick with every player's play, every player's tendency. Everything would be set out. And then you go out and play, and you knew what the tempo was. The referees are going to call this game different. Those are little details in which why we can't expect much out of Philadelphia. And not to mention, Embiid is out.
Yeah.
He's missing. He'll be back. That's rust.
By the way, scorching takes, by the way, from Brian Hollins. This is great. We got to wrap this up, but real quickly, Westbrook needs 16 boards tonight to match a double-double or get a triple-double for average triple-double second straight years. You going to get it? Yes.
Who are they playing against?
Who are they playing tonight? They're playing the Grizzlies.
He could get it. There's going to be a lot of missed shots.
Come on, yes or no? Is he going to get it? Yes or no?
And get it. Oh,
Yes,
he's getting
He's
it.
getting it.
There you go.
Getting it.
There you go.
Absolutely.
You've been so strong at everything. Hey, he could get it. Come on, go all in.
Hey, come on.
Dude.
That's my little brother, man. Come on, Russ. Go get it, Russ.
Solid.
Have 20.
Solid tonight, Ryan. Solid. We appreciate you being with us. That was awesome. Coming up
anytime,
next.
fellas.
Hey everyone, Mike Golic here. Support for the Golic Wingo podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. With Rocket Mortgage, you can apply simply and understand fully so you can mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Mikes. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS consumeraccess.org number 3030.
Winning at sports and at sports broadcasting means changing things up.
Just like La Quinta Inns and Suites is changing up their look.
A renovated lobby that's so contemporary it even makes Golic look cool.
Yes, it does. And a totally updated fitness center that even has Wingo feeling like a workout.
I'm ripped. Plus plenty of comfortable spaces to hang out.
Yep, this La Quinta look definitely has a vibe of victory.
So you can just relax, refresh, and get ready for your next big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com.
You surprised Ryan Hollins? I mean, so strong for Donovan Mitchell over Ben Simmons.
Most importantly, I'm surprised the chair is still there because his takes were so incendiary. I thought the chair was going to burst into flames.
Most people are, on the Ben Simmons train, and
he is all in on the Donovan Mitchell wagon.
He said he could get with a Rookie of the Year, but not Ben Simmons winning over Donovan Mitchell. Pretty interesting, and. We have people chiming in that, Ben Simmons has all the stats. Ben Simmons averaged 16 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, shot 54% from the field. Unfortunately, 56% from the free throw line.
Right.
Donovan Mitchell, 20 points a game, basically 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 44% from the field, 34% from threes. Simmons doesn't shoot threes.
Right.
And 81% from the free throw line. A lot of people are just kind of saying Ben Simmons. Listen, watching, he does pass that eye test of wow.
No question.
6'10", 6'9", 6 whatever he is, bringing up the ball, all the movement, all the passing, all the handle he has for his size.
He's a generational player.
He has that wow factor, but Ryan brought up great thoughts of Utah. What did you think Utah was going to be this year? Now, Rudy Gobert, they're going to have the defensive player of the year. At least he's the favorite for that. But you lose Gordon Hayward, you wonder what they're going to do. You don't know what Donovan Mitchell's going to do when he gets there. And he has a monster year for a team. If they win tonight, it's going to be the 3rd seed in the West. So.
I think that's the most compelling argument for Donovan Mitchell is that he has got them to the 3 seed in the West. I think we can all can concede that being the 3 seed in the West, considering the 2 teams in front of you, is a little more difficult than being the 3 seed in the East, or substantially more difficult. Right?
Yeah.
And then look. I don't care about anything as much as he cares about Donovan Mitchell winning the Rookie of the Year award. But the other thing that I think is very interesting, he leads that team in scoring. Donovan Mitchell does.
Yep.
For a team that has at least 45 wins. The only other people as rookies to do that, again, David Robinson, Wilt Chamberlain, Larry Bird, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Pretty good list.
That's a pretty good list.
Yeah.
So you can't just dismiss that. So that's a very good thing. You know what else is very, very good?
What's that?
Bretymology.
It's the game show segment that's captivating a nation.
The origin is Latin. It has been sort of corrupted over time.
Like this show.
Making everyone that hears it smarter.
In the 1800s, English authors were likely to partake in opium den activities.
Now, with your host, researcher Brett.
Take a guess where that came from. Brett's got your answer.
It's Bretymology.
Here are the categories. Words and their meanings. That's straightforward.
And that is there is only one category, words and their meanings. So here's what we learned last week in Bretymology. Last week we learned about the definition of catching lightning in a bottle, dressed to the nines, 3 sheets to the wind, we've all been there, and taken with a grain of salt.
People use this knowledge at the water cooler.
Yes,
to win bets, win drinks, win money, just sound smart at the office, whatever. Use it. Use us.
Yes, we are here for you.
Yes,
we are a vehicle for you to appear smarter in front of your friends. By the way, we've done this for 2 weeks. The official Bretymology stats. I am 5 for 8.
Right.
You are 4 for 8 after taking the golden sombrero.
I went 4-0 and then 0-4.
It's important to be consistent.
Yes,
Mike.
it is.
And we're just doing this all now to clear the stage for Bretymology, brought to you by Discover Card. He's got his own sponsored segment. Who will match all the cash back new card members earn at the end of their first year. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply. And without further ado, the star of the show, Bretymology, researcher Brett. All right, Brett, what do you got?
We actually have a couple new sound effects this week, by the way.
Excellent. We went into our expansive budget to fix the mic and get new sound effects.
To make it clearer when who is right and who is wrong. So, okay. Cliff, can you give us the sound for when Golic is right?
Yes!
Gotta be quicker, Cliff.
And when Trey is right.
Who's the smart guy now?
Okay.
We also have the wrongs on that, too, but you'll probably hear them eventually.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. Shade from Brett right away.
There you go.
So our first phrase, rule of thumb.
Good one.
Mm-hmm.
Rule of thumb. The possible origins. Is it from the Puritan author James Durham, who wrote in 1685 that foolish builders build by guess and rule of thumb? Or they like my or. In a famous ruling in English law in 1782, Judge Sir Francis Buller ruled that a man could beat his wife if the stick he used was no thicker than his thumb.
I hope it's not two. Well, I was about to say, I don't care if I'm right or wrong. I'm going with one because I don't want the other one to be right.
I don't want it to be two, but here's the other thing.
He wouldn't have made that up.
I don't think Brett's going to make that up. That's not one you're going to make up. As horrific as it sounds, I think two is going to be right.
I'm going with one.
Oh, no! I don't know what that means. I forgot which one
that was. Golic being wrong.
Yeah!
Oh, I'm wrong.
Yeah!
You made
Number
that
one
up?
is correct. It's from Puritan author.
You know what?
Yay!
I'm glad you did, though. I'll take being wrong on that. I just didn't think you could make that up.
Well, here's where he lost me.
Smokes.
He said Judge Bueller. And all I could think was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I'm like, no way. Was there an actual Judge Bueller, or did you totally make that up?
Allegedly, there was.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
That's bizarre.
Okay.
Right. Phrase number 2.
Want to know?
Fly by the seat of your pants, which we do every day here.
Yes.
Is it from 1938 when a pilot, Douglas Corrigan, had applied to the Bureau of Air Commerce for a transatlantic flight, was rejected, and instead of flying from Brooklyn to California, which was what he was authorized to do, he flew across the Atlantic anyway, 28 hours to Dublin. They called him in the subsequent article, Wrong Way Corrigan, who flies by the seat of his pants.
That's a really good one.
That is a good one.
Or is it an army saying from World War I where pilots were told during training that they needed to be able to fly by the seat of their pants if their plane's instruments failed during flight?
Oh, those are two really good ones.
They really are.
We have Wrong Way Roy Regals who went the wrong way in the Rose Bowl. So I think I want to go Wrong Way Roy Corrigan. I'm going one.
I'm going two.
One. Give me two.
Yay!
I don't know what that means.
Goes right again?
Number 2 is correct. It's an army saying.
So you were right.
I was right.
Golic was right.
We are more mixed up on your things, Cliff.
Sound,
I have
I don't
no
know.
clue.
Cliff's killing us.
No clue.
Cliff is killing the show.
You really are, Cliff.
And you've made the show so often, now you're killing the show. All right,
so you were right. Just accept your answer and move on.
Number 2 is correct. Okay.
So you're 6. You're 5 for 10. I'm 6 for 10 now.
All right. Third phrase. Red herring. Is it from the 17th and 18th centuries in England, when the heavily cured herring, which had a reddish color, was frequently served in prisons because it was cheap? When a criminal escaped, they would drag herring across their trail to make bloodhounds lose their scent. Or is it from English journalist William Cobbett, who wrote a story in 1807 about a boy who had used a red herring to trick hounds who were chasing a hare, and used it as a metaphor for how the press was misled about the supposed defeat of Napoleon and ignored domestic matters in the meantime, calling it, quote, a political red herring.
Okay. Now, here's the deal. I think both of those things are true, but I think you got to the second one because of the origin of the first one. So I'm going one. I'm going one.
I'm going two.
2 is correct.
Yes! And I figured out that's the best way to do it. Brett, just tell us who's right, okay? Yeah. Cliff, you stink.
Yeah. All right, so we're tied. We're 6 for 11.
All right.
We are tied right now.
Woo!
So this is huge.
Okay, your final phrase of the day is Bob's your uncle. And
that's
I'm going to need
British thing.
I'm going to need a little help from Austin Powers on this one.
Okay.
The guard, drawn by my cries of pain, comes to investigate. Meanwhile, you dig a pit, line it with makeshift punji sticks made from sharpened toothbrushes. The guard falls in, Bob's your uncle, we escape. What do you think?
All right.
Bob's your uncle. Okay.
Is it a phrase of political nepotism in the 1880s in England when Prime Minister Lord Salisbury appointed his nephew to various positions for which he was not qualified? Lord Salisbury, to his nephew, would be known as Uncle Bob, and thus Bob's your uncle. Or was it the catchphrase of British comic Tommy Trinder in his regular news segment on British variety show Tonight at the London Palladium, which he starred in from 1955 to 63?
The first thing, can I do a lifeline and ask my son, because it's about nepotism?
Gotta get Junior to the mic.
Well, that would be a good source to go to. Read those again.
So we have political nepotism from Prime Minister Lord Robert Salisbury.
Yeah.
Or the British comic on the sort of Saturday Night Live facsimile of England.
You want to go first?
I'm going to go 1.
You know, I should go 2 to break the tie.
But you're going to agree with me, aren't you?
I think it's 1 as well.
Yeah.
Yay!
All right.
So 3 weeks into this thing, we're both 7 for 11.
Sorry, Mike.
We're always open. You guys want to speak more about the nepotism thing?
No.
It could be 7 for 11.
Deeper
done 4 every week, right?
So someone's keeping score. 7 for 12.
Yeah, it's got to be 7 for 12.
Yeah, you didn't update it because we were both 6 for 11, so we're both 7 for 12. Research your Brett, just making sure everything is done right.
Wow.
Cliff, what happened with those Sounders, man?
Cliff, you are done.
Yeah,
that's just awful.
That did not go well.
Okay, that's the one thing. I love this segment, but it's the one thing we got to do better at. We got to get the right or wrong, the dings right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's all about the dings.
All about the dings.
It's always about the dings. I really thought the red herring thing, I thought I was on to something there because one used the other one, but I went too far.
You know what? You overthought it.
Yes, which is, by the way,
you did.
The motto of this show should be never think.
Never think.
So overthinking would be actually thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not going to do that anymore. Thinking has now been removed from the equation. We'll do Bretymology again next week because Brett likes to hear himself talk.
Yeah.
Coming up, a star player has answered his critics.
Love scoring amazing hotel deals? Then you've got to get the Hotel Tonight app. Forget scrolling through never-ending lists of hotels. Hotel Tonight shows you a select list of incredible deals at hotels you actually want to stay at. And even though the name's Hotel Tonight, you can book up to 100 days in advance in top destinations and up to a week in advance everywhere else. Want to get those deals? Yeah, you do. Download the Hotel Tonight app now.
Let's go, 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 White Sox!
Devin, explain to us again why you decided to become a White Sox fan.
Great farm system.
Because of their farm system.
Yeah.
And you gave us the name of one player. What was that guy?
Eloy Jimenez. What position? He's a pitcher. Live arm.
Yes, Brett, what do you have for us?
Eloy Jimenez is an outfielder.
You didn't even know what position he was.
Chicago is proud of you.
Yeah. Devin's an idiot, and Golic and Wingo is presented by Progressive Insurance. Commercial insurance through Progressive protects your business and your dream. Choose from over 30 coverage options at progressivecommercial.com.
Yeah, Golic and Wingo with you on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. So at the start of the year, Devin was a baseball free agent. Didn't have a fan rooting interest in any way, shape, or form. But he decided to go for the White Sox, and he went with the White Sox because of their deep farm system. And this player that he really loved.
Yeah.
So Devin wanted to do that, and the White Sox heard Devin's debacle, by the way, and the little mistake that he made about who this player is and what he was and all these kind of things. So the White Sox, in their infinite wisdom, were listening to the show, Golic and Wingo, and realized, hey, we appreciate Devin's pseudo-fandom, but we want to help him out. And so here's what they did. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Eloy Jimenez.
Hey, David. My name is Eloy Jimenez of Chicago White Sox. If you're going to be a fan of the team, there are a few things you need to know. First, I'm an outfielder. I'm not a pitcher. Second, I have not made to the big leagues yet. But, hey, I'll let you know, Dylan Cease is a pitcher. Not me. Yeah, of course. And I hope I see you soon in the ballpark. Go White Sox.
Okay, so, a couple things.
Go Sox!
Again, Devin's just an idiot.
Confirmed.
But that's very cool of the White Sox to do.
Listen, we appreciate the White Sox. They listened in and they heard Brett excoriate Devin for not even knowing what the live arm was. He could still have a live arm, Bubble Boy, because you got to throw it in from the outfield. He's just not a pitcher.
I had no idea that was coming, by the way.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
And your White Sox right now at the bottom of the division, sitting at 3-7.
We're coming. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Is there another player you'd like to throw out there for the White Sox from the farm system?
No, I'm not going to put myself in that position.
Well, what a fan!
If nothing else, he's learned.
Wow,
he's learned. And the thing that's nice there is that the White Sox wanted to help. The White Sox wanted to be a part of this. See, we are an all-inclusive program. We wanted to get as many people through the process as we can, and the White Sox are now part of that process.
Yeah, they are. We really do appreciate that, even though they sit at the bottom of the division.
Well, they're a team on the rise.
Yeah, they are.
They're a team on the rise.
Not like the Red Sox and Mets, we said, both starting out 9-1.
That's an amazing thing,
yeah, really is. Both rookie managers.
Yeah, it is interesting because the Red Sox made the managerial change in the offseason. And I always love this when they make the managerial change whenever you fire somebody. The first thing they do in the press release is list all the great accomplishments that John Farrell has done, and then we fired him anyway.
Yeah.
But early on, looks like they made the right choice. I mean, everything right now is working for Boston. And again, the weird thing about that is the way the season started. First game of the year in Tampa, they blew a 4-run lead, which they did not do once last year. I think the number was 49-0 they were last year in games that they had a 4-run lead or more. So they blow that, and then, of course, they haven't lost a game since.
They haven't lost a game. They have 3 hitters in the top 10 in the league, all 3 over 350, including Mookie Betts hitting .432 right now, leading the league. Pretty impressive what's going on. And then, obviously, with the Mets as well.
Yeah.
We keep talking about that pitching for the Mets, and they went through the injury spate with all the guys. But when healthy, I mean, we talked about the possibility of what that team could become. Health is a key issue. We're only 10 games in, so we have obviously a long way to go.
We do, and Mets fans are so trepidatious.
Oh, yeah. They're waiting for the shoe to drop.
They're just like, can this continue? Because it's been ungodly.
Oh, you know what they are. They're like, no, this can't continue.
Yes.
What's going to happen first?
They're walking around with the black cloud over them, just waiting for the bad thing to happen. But right now it hasn't. Mets, Red Sox off to a great start. Coming up when we continue on Golic and Wingo, a star QB in the draft firing back at his critics and saying some very interesting things. Stay with us.
Next, you're holding up the line, ma'am.
What did you say?
You're next in line for the water slide, ma'am. Feet forward and enjoy the ride.
Okay, dearie, this does look fun. Whee-oh, you melted me. I've melted.
The Wicked Witch of the West on a water slide? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
See what you've done. Oh!
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15%.